Russia claims its forces downed 21 Ukrainian drones over occupied Crimea and the Black Sea overnight on July 23rd, while local Telegram channels reported explosions on the peninsula. Residents reported hearing sounds of explosions in the community of Jankoy. The Telegram channel Crimean Wind wrote. Traffic was also reportedly halted on the Kerch Bridge connecting mainland Russia with occupied Crimea, Astra reported. Earlier in the night, occupation authorities claimed that 15 Ukrainian drones were downed over the Black Sea. The Russian Defense Ministry said later in the morning that as many as 21 drones were shot down over the occupied peninsula and the sea. Ukraine has not commented on the claims, which could not be independently verified. The occupied peninsula has been repeatedly targeted by Ukrainian drone and naval strikes, forcing Russian forces to withdraw much of its naval power and beef up air defenses. Through open-source research, Mediazona, a Russian independent media outlet together with BBC Russia, confirmed the names of 59,725 Russian soldiers who had been killed since the beginning of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February 2022. Since Mediazona's last update in early July, the names of 1,118 Russian soldiers have been added to the list of casualties. The journalists note that the actual figures are likely significantly higher, as their verified information comes from public sources such as obituaries, posts by relatives, regional media reports, and statements from local authorities. On July 5th, Russian media outlets Meduza and Mediazona published a report indicating that approximately 120,000 Russian troops have been killed since the start of the full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Russian army casualties have risen sharply in recent months amid a failed, renewed Russian offensive. According to research by BBC Russia and Mediazona, Russia lost over 10,000 soldiers in Ukraine over the past 6 months. President Volodymyr Zelensky claimed in an interview with the BBC on July 18th that around 20,000 Russian troops were killed during Russia's failed offensive in Kharkiv Oblast. Since Russia began its all-out war against Ukraine, over 3,700 officers, with 437 holding the rank of lieutenant colonel or higher, have been killed in combat in Ukraine. The analysts note that at least 11,133 Russian inmates have been killed on Ukraine's eastern front. Russia has deployed additional assault units near the village of Laibok in Kharkiv Oblast to prepare for offensive operations. Nazar Voloshin, the spokesperson of the Khortytsia group of forces, told Interfax Ukraine on July 21st. The village of Laibok is located in the north of the Kharkiv Oblast, 7 kilometers, 4.6 miles, from the border with Russia, and 39 kilometers, 24 miles, from the regional center, the city of Kharkiv. Russia launched its offensive in Kharkiv Oblast on May 10th, but the assault quickly stalled. Around 20,000 Russian troops were killed during the failed push in the northeastern region, according to President Volodymyr Zelensky. Russia is currently massing new troops near the village of Laibok, including assault groups of the 155th Separate Marine Brigade of the Russian Pacific Fleet and the 18th Motorized Rifle Division of the 11th Army Corps, according to Voloshin. Russian troops use drones for remote mining of the area, the spokesperson added. Voloshin said that in the central and eastern parts of the town of Vovchansk, which became the scene of some of the heaviest fighting in Kharkiv Oblast, Russian troops continue to regroup forces for further attacks. It has also been confirmed that an assault unit of the 153rd Tank Regiment of the 47th Tank Division of the Russian Armed Forces has been withdrawn for recovery. Its positions have been taken by the personnel of the Russian 128th Separate Motorized Rifle Brigade of the 44th Army Corps and the Akhmat unit, the spokesperson added. The Ukrainian military also recorded the arrival of additional personnel from the 41st Motorized Rifle Regiment of the 72nd Motorized Rifle Division in the Belgorod Oblast village of Murom near the Ukrainian border to replenish the thinned ranks. The Russian military switched to defense in the area of the occupied village of Lukyantsy in the Lipetsk community in Kharkiv Oblast. The Kharkiv group of forces reported on July 22nd. Russian forces are regrouping personnel and reconnoitering the routes of advance using drones, the statement read. Both Russian mainstream and social media has been claiming for more than a week to have seen 4 F-16 fighter aircraft flying over the city of Odessa and surrounding areas of Ukraine. Some of those sources insisted the aircraft had taken off from airfields in Romania. Romania's Ministry of National Defense of Romania was quick to deny the allegations, issuing a statement on Tuesday, July 16th that said, "So-called unidentified sources on the Russian Telegram platform have claimed that F-16 aircraft took off from Romanian airfields to carry out missions in Ukrainian airspace over the Odessa region." The statement continued, "We want to make it as clear as possible that the imaginary sources of Russian propaganda have transmitted false information. The F-16 aircraft of the Romanian Air Force perform training and policing missions exclusively in its national airspace, with strict compliance with the rules established by international legislation. Romania hosts the European F-16 training center at the Fătăști military airbase, which is situated about 130 kilometers, 80 miles, from the Ukrainian border and 320 kilometers, 200 miles, southwest of Odessa. Fătăști was established to provide F-16 pilot and maintenance crew training for NATO countries and Ukraine using aircraft provided by the Netherlands with training support from Lockheed Martin and its contractors. Romania itself has a fleet of around 50 F-16s, acquired from Norway and Portugal between 2016 and 2023, which it is planning to eventually replace with the latest generation F-35 fighters by 2030. It was reported early last week on the sidelines of the NATO Heads of State Summit by Dick Schoof, the Netherlands Prime Minister, and Mette Frederiksen, his Danish counterpart, that the first F-16s were on the way to Ukraine. This sparked much speculation on how many aircraft, from an expected total of around 80, would be in this first tranche, where they would be based, and what their operational tasks would be. There have been suggestions that they could be based either in Poland or Romania, although most commentators have dismissed that suggestion as being a risk to embroiling those nations and NATO as a whole in direct military action by and against Russia. There is as much speculation over what Ukraine will use the aircraft for. While providing an undoubted uptick in Kyiv's air defense, experts suggest that there are not enough of them to challenge Russia's air superiority other than on specific encounters. Yet their presence may well make Moscow's own aerospace forces more cautious on operations, which would indirectly benefit Ukraine's frontline areas. One suggestion, which actually makes the Odessa story seem a little more likely, is that their initial use will be against Russian air defense assets protecting Crimea as part of Kyiv's strategy to apply as much pressure on the territory, which is seen as very much Putin's jewel in the crown. Other analysts suggest the other advantage in that strategy is that if an aircraft comes down near Crimea, which is almost an island, it is more likely to be ditched into the sea, making any rescue operation potentially more straightforward and less likely for the F-16 to fall into Russian hands.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Every day. We had a guy last week, it's 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.